Hi, my name's Haley, and ever since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a famous singer. Like my heroes, Beyoncé, Mariah Carey, and Taylor Swift. I was that kid who entered every singing contest going. And you know what? I won a lot of certificates, trophies, and local prizes, including a month's worth of pizza. Yum! As I grew older, I knew I needed to reach a bigger audience, so I started posting covers on YouTube. I mean, it worked for Justin Bieber, so why not for me? Luckily for me, I have an amazingly supportive family and totally awesome friends who believe in my talent. My biggest supporter's Kurt. He's my best friend, and we've been living the same dream of becoming great singers ever since middle school. A year ago, we even chose to apply for West High together, despite its being further from our house than the other school, which was right around the block. It was totally worth it though. Why, you ask? Well, because of the great Swing Club. Yes, the desirable, renowned music club that not only organizes internal activities, but also puts on various shows and concerts, which are watched not only by the locals, but also by professionals, talent managers, and so on. It was even known as the Cradle that has raised up some big names in the industry. And you know it. The next big thing will be Haley Miller. Mark my words. I loved the Swing Club, but it wasn't as easy as it sounds. You see, as well as passing the entrance contest, there were also monthly evaluations. It was super competitive, but it kept me on my toes. No way I was being chucked out of it like this one girl who missed a few rehearsals was... Shudder! So, okay, another year has rolled around, and it's time for another entrance contest. I was so excited, since I'd be a senior this time around, so I volunteered to Miss Anderson, the club leader, to help with the registration process. As I was looking at the new kids nervously practicing in the hallway, I noticed that there were also friends my age that had missed last year's audition and wanted to try out this time. Suddenly, a guy tapped me on the shoulder and asked me where the nearest restrooms were. Oh, he was cute. Although he was fidgeting and sweating, I guess he was nervous. West High's auditorium was a bit of a maze, so I offered to show him the way. He told me his name was Eric, and he had stage fright. I comforted him, saying, "It's all okay, don't worry. I was also terrified when I first auditioned, but it all worked out just fine." I have to admit that I was curious about this guy, so I stayed around so I could watch his performance. Oh my god, he was amazing! And I'm talking Harry Styles amazing. Then, this pretty girl called Anna took to the stage right after that, and Miss Anderson asked her why she wanted to join Swing Club. I was about to leave to go congratulate Eric, but Anna's reply to the question got my attention. I know Haley's the star around here, and I think it's about time she had some competition. Wow, this girl knew my name? Yep, I guess I was a little flattered, but also confused. I didn't understand why she felt the need to say that. She mentioned me as I was someone she looked up to, or that's just straight up unfriendly provoking. Then she started singing my favorite Taylor Swift song, and yeah, there's no denying she had a great voice. Unsurprisingly, both Eric and Anna made the Swing Club. However, I could not have imagined that their appearance in Swing Club would cause me no less of a trouble. In fact, the first trouble took place right on the first day of them being Swing Club's official members. You know, at the first meeting, we would have to talk the newbies through the rules and stuff, and it was my job. At Swing Club, there was a regulation that for the first 3 months, newbies could only participate in supporting rules. Then, after proving themselves in the monthly evaluations, they could try out for bigger parts. Everyone was cool with it, except for Anna. She gave me a dirty look and said, "That's so unfair. So what if I'm new? I should be picked for the lead on my talent." I forced a smile and replied, "I'm sorry, Anna, but I don't make the rules." "Yeah, whatever. That sounds like discrimination to me. You're all probably just afraid that I would get the part you're after." The worst part was that some of the other newbies were whispering among themselves. They started to be swayed and agreed with Anna. I tried to keep my cool. "Anna, I'm a club member too. I don't make the rules, but I do have to follow them too. I hope you understand that it's a tradition of our club. We just want you guys to have some time to settle in," and Anna started to cut me off. But Eric spoke over the top of her.
"Anna, that was rude. Be quiet, and stop interrupting the training session."
Anna sat down and didn't say anything else after that, but she still looked sulky. So, okay, this girl wasn't here to be friends, huh? Later that day, after training, I was walking to the parking lot when Eric caught up with me and said,
"Sorry for earlier. Anna? Well, I've known her for a while, so I know how annoying she can get."
I smiled back at him. It's okay. How about you? Has the stage fright got any better? For what it's worth, I thought you sounded amazing.
Thanks.
He gave me an awkward smile.
I'm working on it, but the thrill of being on stage performing is worth tackling the nerves.
After that, Eric and I grew closer. We hung out after classes, and I helped him with his vocal practice and so on. He was really eager to learn, and always asked for my opinion each time he chose songs for the evaluations. That made me really happy, to be able to help and connect with someone who's just as passionate about the same thing as me. It was also like that with me and Kurt. But, yeah, talking about Kurt, I wasn't hanging out with him as much as usual, but that was his choice. I always invited Kurt to join Eric and me, but he didn't seem to want to. I guess he's been acting a little strange lately. He got cranky about the smallest of things, such as me staying late to go over my lines, and the time I gave my spare cupcake to Eric instead of him, which I only did because, at the time, he'd just eaten a huge hamburger. I put it down to him being stressed over exams and all. That, or maybe it was hormones or something. Until one day, I thought I finally had the old Kurt back when I spotted him outside of the auditorium, and he smiled and waved back at me, then said,
"Hey, Haley, are you free? Come practice with me."
I replied, "Actually, I was just about to go to the auditorium to practice. Let's go inside." He looked a little nervous as he replied,
"Perfect. What a coincidence. Actually, there's also something I need to tell you too. But, yeah, let's go inside first."
As we stepped inside, I spotted Eric. He pointed at his watch, then smirked. He shook his head and teased me.
"What time do you call this?"
Then he saw Kurt.
"Oh, hi, Kurt."
Kurt muttered out a hi, but he seemed uncomfortable. I guess he was still feeling a bit awkward around the newbies. I searched through my backpack for my song sheet, but when I looked up, Kurt had vanished. Eric asked me if something was wrong with Kurt, and I just shrugged. Geez, what's with this boy? Seriously, his mood swings were starting to get on my nerves. This weirdness wasn't like Kurt, so the next day, I sat by him in lunch and asked him where he'd gone during practice and what it was he wanted to tell me. With a cold voice, he replied,
"I forgot what I was about to tell you. And now excuse me, I have urgent work to do."
Then he walked off, even though he'd barely touched his lunch. Okay, something was definitely up. Kurt wasn't the kind of guy who usually left his food. Was he mad at me or something? I hated having this weird tension between me and him, but right now, I was too busy to care. I had an upcoming musical to prepare for. You know, the female lead role was mine, so practice was intense. It was all going pretty well until, yep, you guessed it, Anna struck again. She showed up at my rehearsals and went on and on about how unfair the rules for newbies were and how she should be the lead. I told her again that it had always been the rule and I didn't have any right to change it. No one here had. Then she shouted out, "I'm going to talk to Miss Anderson about this. Then we'll see." I followed her in case she caused any more trouble. Anna went on about that all over again to Miss Anderson as she entered her office. I guess Miss Anderson found it interesting that there's such a personality in our club. So even though she knew Anna's words didn't make sense, she still let her try out for the part. "Oh, right then. If you think you're capable, let's have a rematch this Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. Okay, fine. I wasn't afraid of going against her at all, but I was annoyed that now Anna thought she was one up on me. It seemed that all she had to do was click her fingers, and everyone did as she said. Well, not me. She was such a diva. But she was no match for me. The day of the rematch arrived, and I showed up without any worries. But as I entered the room, I heard everyone whispering. And Miss Anderson, for some reason, looked really mad and said, "Miss Miller, you can turn around and go straight home right now. Anna will take the part." Then she picked her bag up and left before I had a chance to ask her what was going on. Worse still, I saw Anna smirking at me. This was so bad, and none of it made sense. Hey, it's me, Haley, back again. So, in the last part of my story, my club leader, Miss Anderson, made me audition for my lead part, and all because this new girl, Anna, couldn't accept the rules. I wasn't that worried about it. I mean, the part was already mine, right? Only when I showed up for the audition, Miss Anderson suddenly went crazy at me, then gave my part to Anna. I didn't understand. How could Miss Anderson just give away my part? I hadn't even had a chance to sing yet. I stood there confused when one of the other newbies came over to me and said, "Why are you so late? Miss Anderson's mad at you. She's been waiting for you for over an hour." I checked the clock. No, I wasn't late. I always showed up to auditions early. Always. I ran after Miss Anderson to try and explain, but she wouldn't let me talk.
Haley, I'm so disappointed in you. You're undisciplined and irresponsible, and I don't want to hear your excuses. You're meant to be a role model for the new members. Has the celebrity disease already gotten to you? You won't be able to go very far with this attitude, young lady. And I can't believe Anna was right about you,
she mumbled out, then walked away. I was so stunned, so I remained standing there like a statue. It would have helped if I knew what was going on. The audition was at 10:30. I was sure of it. Then Kurt walked by. I was hoping he would explain to me what was going on, but instead he just said,
"That's what you get for hanging out with boys, instead of focusing on your career. Anna deserves that part instead of you."
My heart sank. How could my best friend say such a horrible thing, and without even taking the time to hear me out? Feeling disheartened, I flopped down on the nearest bench. Tears were about to flow out of my eyes, when Eric appeared out of nowhere and said,
"Haley, I've been looking for you everywhere. You didn't even answer my phone. You've missed the audition, right?"
I wiped away my tears. "Yeah, I don't understand. Has today's audition been rescheduled or something? No one told me a thing. Oh, and my phone. I must have left it in my locker yesterday. I've checked the GPS. It's still at school." Eric raised his eyebrow.
"Wait, you don't have your phone? And you didn't know that the match was changed to 9 a.m.? I heard Anna tell Miss Anderson that you asked for it because you would be busy at 10:30, wasn't it? Miss Anderson was already pretty unimpressed that you didn't even tell that yourself to her."
I gave him a confused look and replied, "What? No? Who said that? I'm not busy. Even if I was, I would never get someone else to tell Miss Anderson for me." Eric then grabbed my wrist and said,
"Come with me."
We went back to the room where the match was supposed to be held, and Anna was still there, laughing with her friends. Eric told them to leave, as we needed to have a private talk with Anna. She looked surprised at Eric's attitude, but she told her friends to go. Then Eric looked at her and said,
"I know what you did. Now, are you going to tell the truth, or wait for me to expose it?"
Smirking, she just shrugged and said, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
"That's strange, because the rescheduling was your idea, and it turns out Haley wasn't busy at all. Also, her phone's disappeared. Now, you wouldn't know anything about that, would you? I mean, I did hear you yesterday talking to your friends about hiding someone's phone. I thought you were playing a prank on someone in class, but now it all makes sense."
Anna went quiet and glued her eyes to the floor as I kept staring at her, waiting for an answer.
"So?"
Eric's patience was running out. Anna let out a sigh, then rolled her eyes. "Fine. It was me. I just wanted the part, okay? I'm far more talented than Haley is." I was fuming. How could she be so vicious? Surely, gaining a part fairly was far more rewarding than gaining it like this. I tried to keep calm as I turned to Eric and whispered, "Thanks for all your help, Eric, but I think Anna and I need to have a little chat." Eric nodded. Then he told me he'd be waiting outside. I said, "Why, Anna? Isn't a fair chance all you wanted? Why do you keep coming at me?" At first, she didn't say anything. She just fiddled with her bracelet. But then she replied, It's because you're always in the spotlight, and all Kurt sees is you. I joined Swing Club just because of Kurt, but it's so frustrating to see you with him. Why do you have to get everything?
both Kurt and the lead role?
Kurt? No, there's nothing between us, Anna. Seriously, nothing. We've been best friends since, forever. That's all.
Anna sighed. Okay, you caught me out. Now just let me leave already. I watched her go, as it wasn't like we had anything else to talk about. After that, Anna didn't bother me anymore. I guess she thought she'd be in enough trouble when I told Miss Anderson the truth. Only, I never did. I mean, I thought about it, but my anger faded out, so I decided to give her this one. There was no denying she was an ambitious girl like me, just that her action was led by the wrong drive. I'd let it slide this time, and this time only. Eric didn't understand it at all. He kept telling me it was my part, and I should go and get it back. But the truth was, it didn't feel like my part anymore. I told him that I'd already figured out how to let it go and move my focus onto the next thing. The day of the show arrived, and I was in the dressing room sorting out costumes when Anna came over to me and said, "Why didn't you tell Mrs. Anderson what I did?" I replied, I thought about it, but then I decided not to. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't cool of you to do what you did, but I hope you've learned your lesson. I'll let you have this one. She looked touched and thanked me. We smiled at each other and agreed to restart fresh and leave all problems behind. And next time, we would compete friendly and fairly with our real capability. After that, we became friends. We started hanging out, Eric too, and on occasions, Kurt. I always tried to drag him along with us. I think he and Anna would make the cutest couple, but he always seems like he has something on his mind. Anyway, the concert for Swing Club's anniversary was around the corner, and we all knew this was the biggest show of the year. Everyone would be there, including professionals. The newbies had been there over 3 months, so all could try out for the lead roles. Everyone wanted the opening or closing solos. I tried out for the closing solo spot, and naturally, so did Anna. Only this time, we practiced together and competed fairly. Eric and I even prepared a duet. The other kids kept telling us our voices complemented each other. Turns out, they were right. Plus, I liked singing with Eric, as it also meant I had an excuse to hang out with him even more than normal. After practice, we'd go and grab a burger, go to the park, or go and watch a movie. Being around him made me smile so much my face ached. But I don't know. We were just friends, right? So, the parts for the concert were chosen via a casting day, where everyone in the club got to vote for their favorites. A massive crowd formed outside of the notice board and waited in anticipation for Miss Anderson to pin the results up. I pushed through the crowd and read the results. OMG! I did it! I had the closing solo, and I also secured the duet with Eric, who also won the opening solo, which I was super stoked about, as he really deserved it. Anna was a bit disappointed, of course, but she seemed genuinely happy for me, as she still got in with a duet and another group performance. She ran over and hugged both Eric and me in celebration. Then suddenly, Kurt violently grabbed his backpack, which caused Eric's to fall to the ground. Then he just walked over it and stormed off. What's with him? That's so not okay. I ran after him and demanded to know what his problem was. Kurt, what's wrong with you? I know that you're very sad for not getting the spot. I'm so sorry. But could you at least not be so rude? Especially in front of the whole club. He turned around and yelled at me. Yeah, so what? Easy for you to say. You get what you want, don't you?
That's not what I meant, but come on. It's fair play. Everyone voted. You couldn't blame...
Oh, right. Now thinking about it, I bet you voted for your Prince Eric, not me. It's not like I can ever compete against him, is it, Haley? I just shook my head and walked off. This was so absurd. Since when did he become so childish and headstrong? Who was he to yell at me? I hadn't even done anything. I walked back to the board, and everyone was talking about going out for dinner to celebrate. But I wasn't in the mood, so I made an excuse and left first. Eric must have noticed that and offered to drive me home. In the car, I told him I was sorry for Kurt's behavior earlier. Eric was all cool and comforted me, trying to calm me down, and talked about stuff so I could forget about it. Then he took me to an old outdoor stage in the park,
We sat there on the hood of his car, and he told me about how seeing a street artist right on this stage when he was little had inspired him to be who he is today. Every time he felt doubtful about his dream or nervous before a show, he'd come here to find peace of mind. He's right. This place is so nice. With the cool breeze and a beautiful view, I felt so at ease already. I wasn't sure if that was because of this magical place, or it's just because I was with Eric. Strange to admit, but I always felt so comfortable around him. We could chit-chat about anything on Earth from dawn till dusk. Then suddenly, there was an awkward silence. He called my name, but his head was turning away.
Haley?
Hey, it's Haley back again. So, if you remember in the last part of my story, my best friend Kurt turned into a jealous jerk, all because he didn't get the opening solo in the concert. And being the sweet and caring guy that he is, Eric took me out to cheer me up. We were chatting about all things on Earth. He really helped ease my mind. But suddenly, there was an awkward silence. Then Eric said,
Haley, these last few months getting to know you have been so amazing. I was wondering if you'd consider, being my girlfriend?
"Oh my God, I never expected him to say that." I stared at him open-mouthed.
So?
He looked at me. That's when I realized that he was still waiting for my reply. It'd be a lie to say that I haven't thought about him in that way before. In fact, at that moment, I was so happy. I just wanted to give him the biggest hug right away. But instead, I clumsily told him to give me a little time. It was just a slip of the tongue due to me being nervous. But before I could correct myself, I saw his reaction. He couldn't even keep his cool anymore, and his hopeful face turned into an obvious frown. He looked like a little sulky puppy. Why does he have to be so cute? He told me,
Of course, but that means I still have a chance, right?
I couldn't help but smile and winked. Maybe. Then he drove me home. Before I got out of the car, I whispered to him, "Yes, I'll be your girlfriend," and quickly kissed him on the cheek, then ran as fast as possible into my house. My heart was beating so fast, and I peeked through the window to see him dancing and smiling beside his car. My boyfriend was just the cutest. We started dating and soon became the it couple in swing club. The other kids were always commenting on how perfect we were together. Everything was going so well. I not only had a solo in the concert, but I'd also get to duet with Eric, and our relationship was growing from strength to strength. Every day, I woke up to his good morning text, which included a voice message of him singing some sweet tunes for me. Then later at school, he gave me my favorite candy and a bottle of water to keep me hydrated throughout practice. He was just the best. The only downside in my life was Kurt, who barely spoke to me since the backpack incident. I missed him like crazy, but there was no excuse for the way he was acting, as I hadn't done anything wrong. I was just going to give him space and hope he'd eventually come around. Finally, the day of the concert arrived, and whoa! Miss Anderson had chosen to mention my performance, complete with my picture, to promote the event in the local press. I was so happy and proud of myself. Now, I just had to make sure I didn't mess it up. Luckily, I didn't. Even though I was super nervous, the duet with Eric went amazingly. I was so proud of him for not letting his nerves get in the way. The concert was a success as a whole. We were on the local press and news again after that. And guess who was featured on them the most? Yes, it was Haley Miller again. Then, a few days later, there were even rumors circulating school that a representative from a record label in LA was at the concert and that they had their eye on someone. That's it! It had to be me, right? I sang my heart out, and even kids I didn't know were coming up to me and telling me how I was the star of the show. I was so excited to go to the club meeting and hear my name announced. I walked into the room with a huge smile on my face. Then Miss Anderson made an announcement. As you all know, it's been leaked out that a label representative is interested in one of you. Well,
I can now confirm that this is true. And the person in question is our very own Eric Jones. Congratulations, Eric.
Eric looked so shocked, but not as me. Thousands of things went through my head. I was so overwhelmed, while the other kids clapped and cheered, and I just forced myself to do the same. I know he's my boyfriend, and he's very talented, but as you see, I'd been the one singing the closing solo. I was the one having strangers congratulate me, and I was the one on the press. While everyone was praising Eric, I swiftly left and went home. Eric kept on texting and calling me, but I ignored them all. I just needed some time alone to process my feelings. I didn't want to feel jealous of him, but I couldn't help it. I knew it was wrong, but wait. No, maybe it was not. I had the right to be upset, since I too had worked so hard for it, right? That night, I felt so down that I even skipped dinner and locked myself in my room with all these thoughts. Failure sucks. And sure, it's not easy to face it, but I knew I had to accept the truth. Sooner or later, Eric did nothing wrong, and he deserved it. So I shouldn't make him feel bad for achieving his dream. So I sent Eric a message arranging to meet him tomorrow. I should at least properly congratulate Eric and apologize to him for my childish reaction, right? We met in the park, by the duck pond. Eric was already waiting for me, and I noticed how he looked so sad. I walked over to him and said, "Hi, Eric. Look, I've been a brat, and I'm so sorry. I was just disappointed in myself, so I wasn't ready to talk. But I'm okay now, and for sure. You deserve this opportunity. I know that. I'm so happy for you. I truly am." I held his hands and smiled, trying to cheer him up. He replied,
"It's okay, Haley. It must have been hard for you. I know you meant well."
He smiled back.
"Just so you know, I've turned the offer down anyway. I'm not ready to leave this town, or, you, just yet."
Whoa, this was crazy. As if he'd actually turned down the opportunity of a lifetime for me. Then he continued,
"Besides, I'm not confident enough yet. I still get such bad stage fright. I know this is for the best."
I hugged him and told him that I respected his choice and that even if he wanted to take this offer, he'd still have 100% of my support. To be honest, I did feel such a big relief, so things could carry on to be the same again. We're back as normal students again and wouldn't have to worry about dealing with a long-distance relationship. But then, I kept thinking about it. The more I thought, the more this made no sense. Nerves or not, he couldn't give up on his dream, could he? If that was me, I would never, ever let that chance slip away. My time is yet to come, but it's Eric's time now. I had to tell him to accept the offer before it's too late. I rang him, and as soon as he answered, I blurted out, "You have to accept the offer, else you'll regret it forever. Don't miss the chance just because of me. I'm fine with it and fully support you. I'm serious." Eric told me to stop overthinking, and that it was too late anyway, as the guy from the label, Will, had a flight back to LA that evening. Oh no! I didn't know what to do. All I knew was I needed to do something, so I immediately called Miss Anderson and giving her a brief sum-up of the situation and asking her for Will's number. She sent it over to me, and I tried calling him, but there was no answer. Okay, at least I knew he hadn't boarded yet. Time was of the essence, so I immediately took my mom's car keys and drove to the airport in search of this guy that I'd never even met. I checked for flights to LA, and thank God there's only one, and it still hadn't departed. I crossed my fingers as I called Will's number again. To my utter relief, he picked up. I rambled out who I was, and he told me we could meet, as he hadn't gone through security yet. Phew! I met Will in front of the departure board. I briefly introduced myself again, then he asked me,
"So, what can I do for you?"
I immediately muttered out, "Please give Eric another chance. He's so talented, and since joining the swing club, he's gotten so much better. I'm positive that with professional training, he will grow even more. You saw something in him, so please give him another shot. He won't disappoint you. I promise." Will was silent for a second. I got impatient, so I added, "He refused your offer the first time because he wasn't thinking straight. He really wants to sing. Singing is his passion. Finally, Will said,
Okay, all right. Tell him he has 5 days to prepare, and he has to come to LA.
Then he gave me his card and went to the check-in counter. I'd done it! This was crazy! But I was so relieved that I'd succeeded. I doubt I would have been able to live with myself. Phew! It was super late, but this didn't matter. I went straight to Eric's house and told him everything. He was so shocked and touched, and also worried for me for driving such a long way to the airport alone at night to do all this for him. Then he hugged me tight and thanked me. But then I realized that we only had 5 days left together, so we promised each other that we would make those 5 days memorable. In the mornings, I would help Eric practice his singing, and in the evenings, we would go out. Eric asked me to make a list of all the things I would like us to do. I just wanted to be with him and treasure every second we're together, so I said, I just want to ride the giant wheel. Eric looked a bit confused at first. Then he said,
Is that all? We could do something else if you wanted.
Nah. I shook my head. The giant wheel sounds perfect. Besides, what's better than seeing the town I care about with my extremely cute boyfriend? So, the day before Eric left for the starry heights of LA, we went to the giant wheel, which was in an amusement park on the outskirts of town. We bought some hot dogs and ate them while riding it. When we reached the top, the view up there was just beautiful. We held hands and enjoyed it together. Then Eric asked me why I chose the giant wheel to hang out. I replied, well, when I was little, my family used to come here, and my parents always told me the story of how they met at this giant wheel. It was in the evening. My mother was already in one of the cabins, and then my father came in too. He didn't know somebody was already in there, but when he noticed it was already taken, it was too late. He couldn't get out. And so, 2 strangers had to sit together in a super small wheel cabin. At first, it was super awkward, but then they started chatting, and from that moment on, their love story began. My mother always told me to bring someone special here. She said this place has something magical, because it could make 2 strange people fall in love. So that's why I brought you here, 'cause you are my special one. Eric looked at me with wide open eyes.
I will come back and help you fulfill your dream to become a professional singer. Please, wait for me.
Then he kissed me, and it was the most magical moment of my life. Hey, Haley here. So, in the last episode, my boyfriend Eric was spotted by a record representative, Will, from LA. At first, I'm ashamed to say I was so jealous of his success, but then he told me that he had turned the offer down. At first, I was so surprised by his decision, but then I felt guilty, as I was part of the reason that made him decide to give up on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I rectified this by racing to the airport and persuading Will to give him another chance. And luckily, he agreed. But Eric only had 5 days to prepare. Then he had to come to LA. So we decided to make the last 5 days together memorable. On the last day before Eric was off, we went together to the giant wheel, and Eric promised me that he would be back and help me achieve my dream to become a professional singer. Now, Eric's leaving today. I went with Eric and his family to the airport. I couldn't stop crying as I hugged him goodbye. He said,
I'll see you soon, Haley.
Then he kissed me on my forehead. This only made me cry even more, and his mom comforted me in her arms. So that was it. Eric was going to LA to be a star, and I was staying here and focusing on swing club. We can make this long-distance thing work, right? Luckily, I had Anna around. We grew really close and hung out all the time. Crazy, huh? When she wasn't acting all jealous, she was the sweetest girl. Kurt also hung out with us sometimes, but I was still mad at him. He'd never actually apologized to me for the way he spoke to me. He just joined our lunch table one day and acted like everything was fine. As good as it is to have Kurt as a friend again, he's been acting weird. Sometimes he brought me coffee and put it on my desk with all these notes stuck on it, like, a special drink for a special girl, K. I always tried to remove the notes before Anna noticed them, as I didn't want her to get the wrong idea again. As for Eric, I understand he's a busy guy, but he barely ever answered his phone. It was so frustrating. I just wanted to hear his voice. The only way I could see and hear him was through his song cover videos that his agency uploaded on YouTube. One day, after swing club, I stayed behind. I was sitting at the piano and scrolling through some old pics of Eric and me when I realized Kurt was standing behind me. He was just staring at me. It was kinda weird. I said, "Oh, hi Kurt. I didn't realize you were there." He replied,
Haley, he left you here so he could chase his dreams. Now, he doesn't even call you. That's so selfish. You should be with someone who stays by your side. Someone like me.
I stuttered. "Kurt, I... He cut me off and continued,
I will never leave you like he did.
and then he held my hand and looked deep into my eyes. Oh my God! I was shocked. Why me? Didn't he know that Anna liked him? So I pulled back my hand and told him that I was still with Eric, and I hoped he respected that. He told me to think about it, then give him an answer after we finished filming the upcoming music video. Oh, yes. Our club was going to film a music video for a song cover, and the leading actors were Kurt and me. There was one scene where Kurt was supposed to kiss my cheek. Of course, I didn't agree. The last thing I wanted was for Eric as well as Anna to misunderstand us when they saw that. So I asked the director to change it to hugging. The day of the video arrived, and it was such a buzz. I loved my outfit, and I was having so much fun. But then, that scene arrived, and when I went to hug Kurt, but he lunged forward and kissed me. On my lips! Oh my God! How could he? I was mad at him, but I couldn't make a scene just because of a kiss. It would affect the film crew, and it would be so unprofessional. So I just went through it. I took a glance at Anna, and I could see how disappointed she was. Then she immediately left the set. While I felt very uncomfortable, the director was so pleased that Kurt was going off script. He said it made the music video more interesting. But I was so mad. He not only forced me to kiss him, but also made Anna misunderstand me. After the music video, I texted Anna to meet me at a cafe near the school. She showed up looking so sad, and I felt dreadful. I bought her a latte and a blueberry muffin, her favorites. Then I explained to her how Kurt had gone off script without discussing it with me first. Anna suddenly turned to the windows, looked into the distance, and replied with a sad tone, "That sucks. But I believe you. I've seen the way he looks at you. Anna, you need to tell him how you feel." "Maybe," she sighed. "I don't know." I was relieved that Anna and I were still friends, but I was still furious with Kurt. How dare he do that to me? It wasn't right. Besides, he knew I was still with Eric. So the next day after the club, I went up to Kurt and told him we needed to talk. "Kurt, I don't have feelings for you. You are my best friend. Please don't destroy our friendship." Kurt got angry and yelled,
But I don't want to be just your friend. I want to be more than that. Please, Haley, just give me a chance. I will show you that I'm much better than Eric.
I replied, "Please, stop it. I love Eric. I will never be with you. Anna likes you. You should be with her." This made him even madder, and he shouted,
What are you doing? You hate me so much that you have to push me away to another girl? Unbelievable.
And then he stormed off. Oh my God, why was he so stubborn? Why wouldn't he listen to me? And now he acted like I was the one in the wrong. That's so frustrating. That night, I called Anna and confided in her. After learning about Kurt's anger at me because I tried to put the two of them together, she said, "If I were Kurt, I would be angry like that too. But don't be mad at him anymore. I will help you two make up." I don't know how Anna did it, but a few days later, Kurt came up to me and apologized. After that, our friendship was restored, and he never mentioned his feelings towards me again, although he did wince every time I mentioned Eric. Talking of Eric, I missed him so much, especially since the summer vacation. There were days when I just laid down on my bed and listened to his cover songs over and over again, all day long. I also read every comment from the audiences under each video. All are compliments for him, which made me very happy and proud of him. Although Eric and I rarely spoke, and I was usually the one who called first, every time I heard his voice, I felt fully charged. I could tell from his voice that he missed me too. Then one day, I was lying on my bed listening to music when my phone suddenly rang. It was Anna. She asked me, "Did you hear the news? Eric is about to debut." I accidentally saw his name on a poster in the street. I was surprised and excited. Finally, my boy could reach his dream. I immediately called Eric, and fortunately, this time he picked up. I excitedly asked him, "Are you about to debut?" Eric said he was chosen to perform the opening performance of a famous artist's concert in LA. He continued,
"I wish you could attend. I miss you so much. You should come here."
Hearing Eric say that made my heart filled with joy. To be honest, I also missed him like crazy, and I couldn't wait to see him again. But then suddenly, at that moment, an idea popped into my mind. I would surprise him. So I replied, "Oh, what a shame. I really want to see you perform, but I have a swing club concert then." His voice was low.
"That's all. So don't worry. When I'm free, I'll fly back to meet you."
After Eric hung up, I eagerly called Anna and Kurt and invited them to go to LA with me. They both happily agreed. Eek! This was so exciting! I booked a flight, hotel, and prepared my belongings. I couldn't wait to see Eric's face when I surprised him. We arrived in sunny LA. Anna and Kurt went to the hotel, and I hopped in a taxi straight to Eric's house. I'd sent him a few care packages, so I knew his address. I went to Eric's door and rang the bell, but no one answered. So, even though I was super sad, this wouldn't have the same surprise effect. I sat on the doorstep and called him. After learning that I was in LA, Eric was a bit surprised, but immediately he happily said,
I just moved to a new house closer to my company to facilitate practice. I'll send you the new address."
I eagerly waited for his address to come through. Only 20 minutes passed, and he still hadn't sent it. So I called him again, only this time Will picked up and told me that Eric was urgently rehearsing for his upcoming performance, so he couldn't take the call. I felt so disheartened. I'd come all this way to see him, and now it felt like it had all been for nothing. I knew Eric was busy, but I just told him I was here in LA. So why couldn't he have grabbed a minute and explained to me that he had to rehearse? Surely he owed me that at least. I missed him so much, and I just wanted to see him, but I was beginning to feel he didn't want to see me. Hey, Haley here again. So, in the last episode, Eric had gone to LA to become a singing sensation, while I was left at home, missing him like crazy. When he told me he was performing his debut stage, I decided to go to LA and surprise him. Only, my plan failed miserably when I showed up at the wrong address. Then his manager, Will, answered the phone and told me Eric was too busy to meet me. Naturally, I felt bummed out. But Anna and Kurt insisted on cheering me up, so they took me to Disneyland. Okay, so I tried to have fun. I really did. But everywhere I looked, I saw lovey-dovey couples. Anna and Kurt seemed to be growing closer. They kept on taking pictures together. As happy as I was for them, this reminded me that Eric wasn't here with me. Then, when I was deep in thought, my phone beeped. I smiled when I saw it was a message from Eric and presumed he was sending me over his address. But instead, he said,
"There are VIP tickets to collect for you. I can't wait to see you backstage after the show. Smiley face, X."
I couldn't believe my eyes. Eric had got us 3 VIP tickets. It was a sold-out show, so it was the coolest thing ever. As soon as I showed the message to my friends, Anna squealed excitedly. But I couldn't help but notice that Kurt didn't look all that thrilled. We got ready and arrived at the show super early. I went to the booth to pick the tickets up. I looked at the tickets excitedly, but what's this? There was nothing on them about being VIP tickets. There must have been a mistake, right? So I asked the lady behind the desk about it. She frowned at me and assured me there was no mistake. Annoyed, I walked off and called Eric, but unsurprisingly, he didn't answer. No doubt he was in rehearsals or something. I was really disappointed because I just wanted to be by his side, to encourage and cheer him on the first time he performed. But now I couldn't. Plus, I was a little nervous his stage fright would return. I explained the mix-up to the others, and Anna was cool about it, and Kurt just rolled his eyes and muttered out, "Figures." I didn't bother asking him what he meant by this. I was already bummed out enough. The show was great, and Eric's performance, well, it was so amazing. He'd come on so much since I'd last heard him sing, and I was so proud of him. As soon as the show ended, I rang Eric again, and this time he picked up. I told him about the tickets, and he seemed confused. He confirmed to me that he asked the manager for 3 VIP tickets for us. Then Eric continued.
Now I'm joining an after party. I'll send you the address. Let's meet there.
I replied, sure, I'll be there. I miss you. I told Anna and Kurt about the party, but they both said they were tired, so made their way back to the hotel. It's okay, as I grabbed a taxi and went to the party by myself. As soon as I entered, I was overwhelmed by the bustle of the party. I'd only been there a few minutes, and I saw a super famous actor walk past me. This was so cool. I grabbed a glass of wine, stood in the corner of the room, and looked at Eric. He stood in the middle of the room, surrounded by a lot of people toasting glasses. Suddenly, I felt like an outsider. Now Eric was a rising star, and I was still an unknown child. After a while, the crowd thinned out, and then a smiling Eric walked over to me. Oh my God, my heart was beating so fast. Finally, I could meet him. I happily waved at him. But then suddenly, Will strode over and whispered something in his ear before he pulled him away. What? Why did he do that? I didn't even have time to say anything to Eric. An anxious restlessness swirled in my heart, so I secretly followed the two of them. Will pulled Eric over to the end of the hallway and said harshly,
How dare you bring that girl here? If the press finds out, you can kiss goodbye to your career.
Eric replied,
She's my girlfriend.
Will interrupted immediately.
You have to keep this a secret. If your fans know that you have a girlfriend already and that she's some nobody, they will definitely turn their back on you.
After a moment of silence, Eric spoke up.
Is it you who changed the VIP tickets to regular ones?
He replied.
Yeah, that was me. It's for the best. Trust me, you don't want all your efforts down the drain, do you?
Eric was silent and said nothing. Then Will continued.
You see, Haley saw your success, so she wanted to approach you. Think about it.
What? What did he just say? I was shocked and angry to hear this. I waited for Eric to defend me, but to my confusion, he didn't say a thing. Is this what Eric thought of me? That I was only using him to ride on his fame? I immediately stepped out and appeared in front of them. They both looked totally shocked, but I looked right at Will with wild eyes and said, You don't need to worry. I'm out of here right now. Then I turned to Eric. I honestly believed you had more faith in me. I guess now I know where I stand. We're over. I hope fame's everything you expect it to be. I stormed out of there, somehow managing not to burst into tears until I reached the street. My heart hurt so much when I realized a harsh fact. Popularity was the invisible wall that separated me and Eric. Then suddenly, I heard someone calling my name. I turned back and saw Eric chasing after me, but I carried on walking. He caught up with me and pulled on my hand.
Haley, you misunderstood everything. Let me explain.
I stopped walking and said, I think I've heard enough. Don't worry, I won't affect your career. Eric quickly interrupted me.
No, don't say that. I'm so sorry. Haley, I promise I won't let Will interfere with our relationship anymore.
He hugged me tightly, and I felt my heart melt. It felt so familiar being in his arms. I missed him so much, and wanted to believe him. My tears kept rolling down my cheeks, but not because of anger. It was tears of love. We stood like that for a long time. Then Eric said,
Let me take you to a place.
Then he drove me to the Griffith Observatory. And whoa, it was so beautiful. We sat there and watched the stars twinkling. This night had been a roller coaster, but right now, there was nowhere else I'd rather be. So I looked at him and said, if only this moment could last forever. Eric smiled at me, then asked,
So, how long are you gonna stay here?
I looked at him sadly and replied, I have to go back tomorrow. Eric pleaded with me.
Can you stay for another week? Next week I'm free. I'll show you the LA hotspots. Stay with me, please?
Swing Club could cope without me for a week, right? And it would be amazing to spend some quality time with Eric. So I agreed to stay for another week. Anna and Kurt had flights booked for the next day, so they went back. I'm glad I chose to stay, as the next week with Eric by my side was amazing. We went to so many cool places, such as the Getty Center and the Farmers Market. I was so happy to always be with him. But there was one thing that annoyed me. Eric had to wear this wig, oversized hat, and big shades to disguise himself everywhere. But anyway, I knew that was best for him, for his career, and for me. The week whizzed by, and soon my last full day in LA arrived. And although I missed my friends in swing club, I felt sad about leaving Eric. Eric was performing at this music festival that day, so he gave me a ticket and, grinning, said,
"Here, now I know it's definitely VIP."
This was so sweet of him, so I smiled and thanked him. The festival was huge. I'd never seen so many people before in my life. And then there was the VIP area. Oh my god, I spotted an A-list rapper praying for his performance and a famous boy band practicing their dance routine. Eric's performance was, as always, outstanding. Afterward, I rushed into the VIP area and into the big tent. Whoa, it was full of so many famous people. I tried finding Eric, then I spotted him in the corner. He was talking to a girl. I walked over to him, and I couldn't believe my eyes. With him was Clara. She's this super famous singer who's been dubbed the new Taylor Swift. I really admired her. She's only 2 years older than me, but she's achieved so much. On seeing me, Eric introduced me to Clara. It turns out she's with the same record company as him, and they were preparing to release a product together. I happily said hi to Clara and eagerly asked her to take a photo with me. I hurriedly took my phone from my bag and was about to hold it up to take a photo, but Clara immediately pushed my hand away and took a step back, then said, no, I'm not free. This surprised me, so I muttered, "Oh, okay." Then she sweetly smiled at Eric as she rubbed his shoulder and said, "Bye, Eric. I'll catch you later." Then completely blanking me, she sashayed away. What just happened? I stood there open-mouthed and feeling confused. Honestly, what is being a famous artist? Was it necessary to deliberately act arrogant to prove herself a star like that? Hey, it's me, Haley again. So, in the last episode, after a few hiccups at the beginning, I spent an amazing week in LA with Eric. Although, on meeting the singer Clara, who I was a huge fan of, I realized that she was such a diva, and actually really rude. Oh well, I guess it just goes to show that fame really does go to some people's heads. Luckily for me, I had the sweetest boyfriend ever, even if he was set for stardom. Going back home was bittersweet. I was eager to see my family and friends and get back to swing club. But I knew I was going to miss Eric like crazy. So, I put all my focus into helping Miss Anderson out with the yearly entrance contest. There were some seriously talented kids trying out, but it was this one boy, Phil, who impressed me the most. The piano, saxophone, guitar, you name it, he could play it. Not only this, but he also composed and produced music. Seeing him perform his self-composed songs, I had to exclaim, wow, some people got all the talent. So, okay, Phil was talented and all, but he reminded me of Eric. Last year, at this same stage, in the last entrance contest of our club, he also shined like that. Eric's debut received enthusiastic support from audiences and experts. As a result, he was on the front page of pretty much every newspaper going, and his song kept on being played on the radio. I was so proud of him, but to be honest, I felt a bit sad and envious of Eric. You see, I had singing dreams too, but don't get me wrong, Eric's success was the driving force for me to try harder. In fact, I planned to apply to a university in LA after graduation so that I could work on my career while being close to him. Anyway, for now, I had school to focus on. Talking of school, West High was celebrating its 50th anniversary, so each club had to perform. And naturally, Miss Anderson was adamant that Swing Club's performances would be the best. We all sat in a circle in the meeting room, and Miss Anderson asked us one by one if we had any ideas for songs to perform. Anna was desperate to sing a Miley Cyrus song, and Kurt wanted to do a singing and dancing act. When she got to Phil, he gave an awkward look, then said,
"Well, I guess I have this one song I think would work well, but it needs a singer."
Then he played the demo, and wow, it was so good. I immediately said, "Phil, it's a great song. I'll do it." But then, in a cold voice, he replied,
"No, you don't match my compositions."
This took me by surprise, so I asked him, "Why? Why not me?" Not only did he not answer me, he also pushed his seat back, then walked out of the meeting. Everyone started whispering, and I heard comments such as, "That's so awkward," and "How embarrassing!" Miss Anderson looked flustered, but then she continued to go around the circle as normal. I sat there as red as a tomato and feeling confused. Did he have to be that cruel? I mean, what had I ever done to him? Or he thought that I was not talented enough? But Phil's song was really good, and I wanted to sing that song. I was going to try my hardest to convince Phil that I was the best choice for his song. For the next few days, I kept following Phil and made every effort to persuade him, but it didn't work. I walked up to his locker singing part of the song, but he slammed his locker door shut and walked off. Then I persuaded Anna to talk to him and tell him that my voice would match perfectly with his song, but he told her the answer was still no, and to tell me to quit pestering him. Why was he so stubborn? I really couldn't understand what the hell he was thinking. If all this wasn't stressful enough, the rumors started in the press. They said that Eric was dating someone. I freaked out, thinking my name and picture would be plastered all over the front page. Only there was no mention of me at all. In fact, all the articles were super vague. I knew Will thought it would be problematic if news got out Eric was dating a nobody. And of course, I didn't want to damage his career. But at the same time, I was sick of keeping everything so secretive. I guess a part of me just wanted to shout to everyone, "Right, I'm Eric's girlfriend, the charming star who's taking over LA right now." But after all, fortunately, the press didn't mention me at all. It was good for Eric, and for me as well. I just wanted people to know about me for my talent, not my scandal. But it was also strange. How did the press know he was dating someone? Had someone spotted us on the streets of LA? That night, I texted Eric to ask him about it, but he didn't reply. Sigh. Then one weekend morning, while I was lying in my room, thinking about how to persuade Phil to let me sing his song, I got a text from Anna. She sent me a link, and when I clicked to read it, I was shocked and couldn't believe what I was reading. It was an article saying, "Eric, the newest star on the block's secret girlfriend is finally revealed. It's none other than chart sensation, Clara." What? This couldn't be right. There's no way Eric would do this to me. I needed to hear Eric's version, so I urgently grabbed my phone and rang him. I waited for so long, but no one picked up. What had happened? Why didn't he answer his phone? I became nervous and kept calling him again and again. I had to ask him the truth, or else I would explode. When I almost wanted to give up, suddenly Eric replied.
"Hallie, it's me."
I stammered. "Eric? What happened? How could you?" Without letting me finish my sentence, he replied,
"Haley, please, believe me. It's just a rumor. There's nothing between us. I'll publish a disclaimer soon. I miss you."
I burst into tears and sobbed.
"Don't cry. I miss..."
The phone went dead. What happened? He hasn't even finished the sentence yet. I called him back, but he didn't answer. Then a message arrived.
"Babe, I'm preparing my new songs and I'm kinda busy. I'll call you back when I have free time. Don't worry, everything will be okay. X."
I couldn't help but feel hurt. I needed reassurance right now. But he didn't have any time for me. But I guess he was just super busy at the moment. So I decided to believe him and wait for him to correct the press about that rumor. Yes, that was it. This was just some kind of rumor. Every celeb had at least one, right? I waited for Eric's call, but it didn't come, and nor did the public disclaimer. The articles about Eric and Clara continued, but still, he didn't even send me a message. Was he so busy that he couldn't text me back? Not even once while things were messed up like this? Worse still, I had to go into swing club knowing everyone was gawping at me and talking about me behind my back. Someone even put one of the articles about Eric and Clara in my locker. Ugh! Weeks passed, and I hadn't heard a word from Eric. I missed him like crazy, but I couldn't do anything else. So, one afternoon, after practice, instead of going home, I decided to go to the old outdoor stage in the park, where Eric had taken me before. I needed somewhere quiet to find peace of mind. I lied down on the stage and looked up in the sky. The sun was setting, and I remembered the first time Eric brought me here, and we'd talk about our life and dreams. But now, it was just me, lying here and missing him. I pulled out the phone from my bag and looked through our old photos, which we took in LA. I suddenly smiled. Both of us looked so happy together, but now that felt like a lifetime ago. I opened Instagram to see if he posted something new, because, honestly, it was the only way for me to know how he was recently. Then I froze when I saw a picture. Eric was sitting next to Clara while she was leaning her head gently on his shoulder and smiling. To make it worse, the caption below was, "Nice weekend." Oh my God, I couldn't believe my eyes. He told me not to worry and to believe him, and that he would deny the rumor. I trusted him, and this is what I got in return? The comment section was full of fan comments, such as "couple of the year" and "finally he confirmed it." I burst into tears with anger. I couldn't even breathe. It hurt. It hurt so much. Shakily, I took the phone and dialed Eric's number. Of course, no one replied, as usual, but I kept calling him. I wouldn't give up. I deserved the truth. Finally, he picked up the phone. Without letting him say anything, I shouted, "How could you treat me like this? Just tell me the truth." Someone spoke out.
"Haley, it's me, Will. Eric's busy producing a new song, so he can't pick up the phone. If you have something important, you can tell me, and I'll pass it on."
I got up the nerve and replied, "Please let me know. Is the rumor about Eric and Clara real or not?" Will calmly said,
"Yeah, it is. They're dating."
What Will had said was like a knife to my heart. I was totally frozen. Everything was clear, but I still chose to believe him blindly. It was all my fault. It was dark now, but I sat still, motionless on the stage. My heart sunk in my chest. Then the tears began to flow. Suddenly, I heard someone saying,
"Ooh la la, what do we have here? Look, a little cat is crying."
I looked up and saw two boys around my age staring at me. One of them approached me.
"Hey, beautiful, why are you so sad? Let us take you to another place and have some fun, okay?"
He reached his hand toward me. I yelled at them, "No! Stay away from me!" I pushed his hand away and tried to shout loudly, but he didn't give up. He smirked at me and said,
"No one's gonna hear you. Come on, come with me."
Then he started dragging me forward. I shouted out for help, but it was getting late, so no one was around to hear. Or so I thought. Suddenly, I heard a voice behind me sharply say,
"Stop! Let her go!"
Hey, Haley again. So, in the last episode, my life was currently one big mess. Not only had I found out that my boyfriend Eric was dating the superstar Clara, but now some jerks were trying to kidnap me in the park. Luckily, someone came to my rescue. I turned around to see who it was, and OMG, it was Kurt. I've never been so pleased to see someone in all of my life. The boy gripping my arm said to Kurt,
"I suggest you get out of here. Can't you see we're kind of busy here?"
Kurt replied,
"Let her go. Don't let me hurt you."
They both laughed and grabbed my arm harder as they pulled me forward. I tried wriggling free, but they were both just too strong. It was horrible, and I cried out in pain. Immediately, Kurt charged towards them and started fighting them off me. Wow, I'd never seen this side of Kurt before. He was like the Hulk. After a few minutes, the two boys ran off in fear. When they were both far enough away from Kurt, they turned around and shouted,
"You little turd! You just wait!"
Then they hurried away. Those boys scared me to death. But I didn't want to appear like a weak little girl to Kurt, so I just smiled and said, "Thanks, bro. Those karate classes definitely paid off." Kurt looked furious. He yelled at me.
"What are you doing here? And at this time? It's late now. Don't you know it?"
I muttered out, I had something on my mind and didn't realize the time, but it's okay now. You're here and saved me. Forget it. Let's go home. I'm hungry. He frowned at me.
"Don't change the subject. It's because of Eric, right? Is he worth it, Haley?"
I couldn't help but burst into tears upon hearing that. Did I do something wrong? He told me to believe him, so I believed him blindly, no matter what happened, even when he didn't text me back, even when those rumors were everywhere. But you know what? He's left me for Clara, and he didn't even bother to tell me this himself. I heard it from his manager. Kurt said,
Haley, he doesn't deserve you. Trust me, that jerk's not worth it.
I sniffed. But I still love him, even when he hurt me so much. I sat down on the ground and cried even louder. Kurt sat down next to me and patted my head.
Don't be sad. You're gonna be a massive star, much bigger than him or his stupid girlfriend, and then make him regret. Now, let me take you home.
I nodded my head, and he put his arm around my shoulders to comfort me as we walked. The next morning, when I was lying on my bed in my PJs, Anna and Kurt came to my room and asked me to go out to get some fresh air. I didn't feel like going anywhere, but sitting around moping wasn't doing me any good. Anna brushed my hair and picked me out an outfit. Then Kurt drove us all to the park. Kurt and I were sitting on the bench and waiting for Anna to buy some ice cream. I asked, "What were you doing in the park last night anyway?" I thought it was over, but luckily, you were there. Kurt replied,
I passed the park while coming home, so I decided to walk around to get some fresh air. Then I heard your voice, so I ran to see what was happening.
I smiled. Wow, how lucky was I, right? Thanks a lot, Kurt. Kurt nudged me and said,
I hate seeing you like this. Why do you have to hurt yourself for someone who doesn't belong to you?
His words have shaken me. Kurt was right. I wasn't myself. I'd turned into a version of myself I didn't like. To try and hold onto a boy who'd already let me go? As much as it hurt, last night had made me realize that I needed to face the truth. I sighed and replied, You're right. It's time to let him go and live my own life. Suddenly, Kurt told me,
I'm always here for you, and I'm happy to wait.
I turned to him, smiled, and replied, You're my best friend, Kurt, and I care about you. But preventing someone from finding their true love is just as bad as keeping someone who doesn't love you. You deserve the world, and I can't give you that, just as Eric can't give it to me. Kurt gave a disappointed sigh. I didn't want to hurt him, but I couldn't lie to him either. My heart didn't belong to him. After going out with Kurt and Anna, I felt much better about everything. I realized that music was still my only love and passion, and I needed to focus on it and not let anything else get in the way. We were about to graduate soon, and I didn't have much time, so I wanted to dedicate all this precious time to the swing club. The school ceremony was coming, and I wanted to take this opportunity to have a memorable performance, but Phil still insisted on not letting me sing his song. What a stingy boy! I didn't understand what his problem was with me. Why did he have to view me as his enemy? Then, one time, when I was walking past the practice room, I saw Phil training with some other members. OMG! Why could he let everyone but me sing his song? So I walked into the room and greeted him with a wave, but he just kept his poker face as if he didn't see me. Ugh! This guy thought he's Ice Prince or what? He just glared at me.
Do you mind? Auditions are going on here, and you're not invited.
Jeez. Why was he being like this? He wasn't even giving me a chance. I was about to leave the room when I stopped dead on my feet, then walked right up to him. Yes, actually, I do mind. The least you can do is let me audition. He was silent for a minute. Then he replied,
You want to sing my song, right? Fine. But first, you have to rewrite the sheet music of this song 100 times by practice tomorrow.
What? This boy was crazy. He didn't want me to sing his songs, so he thought of this pointless prank? There was no way I would let his wish be fulfilled. So I replied, 100 times, right? Fine by me, but make sure you keep your promise. He thought I couldn't do it, huh? I'll show him who he's messing with. I went home in a rage and started on it right away. It took me all night to write out his song 100 times. By the end of it, the song was completely embedded in my head. Well, it's a good tune at least. The next day in practice, I placed the copies down in front of him. Here are your 100 copies. You can check them if you want. Phil looked at me surprised and sneaked a smile.
Unexpectedly, you're quite persistent. So, after copying it 100 times, do you know the reason why I don't let you sing my song?
I smirked. Of course. Yes. It's because you hate me. Really, really hate me. Right? Phil knocked on my head and said,
Nah, it's not that. You're so confident in your ability that you always change musical notes or the pitch of the song to the way you want them. You never think about the intention of the composer in every musical note, and I can't accept it.
What Phil said surprised me, but also made me feel ashamed. That's true. I have always varied the song in my way, as I believed that it would be better to show my singing ability. But I've never thought about how the songwriters must have felt. Was I too confident?
Phil slapped my shoulder and said, Stop thinking. After writing down those notes over and over, I guess every note is in your head, right? If you spontaneously change the song without informing me, there won't be another chance.
He left, then turned back and shouted,
Tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m., in the training room. Remember?
The school's 50th anniversary was just around the corner, so it was practice, practice, practice. At least it kept me busy and took my mind off Eric. Besides, it turns out Phil wasn't as hateful as I thought. He was actually a great teacher, and I found that my singing skill has improved a lot. All my practicing paid off, as my performance at the concert was awesome. I've never received such loud applause before. Moreover, the performance was so successful that its video uploaded on the fan page of Swing Club went viral and attracted thousands of views and shares. Maybe Phil was right. I have always focused on showing my voice and forgot that the success of a song wasn't only based on the voice of the singer. Then, Phil came up to me at lunchtime and told me we should release the song and upload it to YouTube. He even suggested we make a professional music video for it. I thought it was extremely insane and impossible, but he said,
Come on, Haley. Don't you feel wasted working so hard and only singing a song once? Please give this a shot. Let the world see what they're missing.
Okay, so what Phil said made sense. I've always tried to perform perfectly on the stage with the hope that someone would realize my talent and help me become famous. I mean, it worked for others, as well as Eric, but that didn't mean it would work for me. I'd never considered producing a music video by myself. Phil's songs were great, and so was my voice. The last performance was proof of this. So, I agreed with Phil, and we decided to ask for other members' help to produce it. The next few months were crazy busy. We recorded the song, found a location for the video, hired a director and a cameraman. I was worried about the cost, but Phil said he'd cover it, and I could pay him back my share when I was famous. Luckily, other members of Swing Club, especially Kurt and Anna, helped us a lot. Anna was in charge of costumes and makeup, and Kurt was useful with the technical stuff. As for Phil, he became one of my best friends. In fact, we were so close, the other club members called us matching cards of Swing Club. And luckily, all our hard work paid off, as the music video was a massive success and went viral. Wow, this was crazy! As well as having millions of views, there were also so many positive comments and compliments, and this was all in just a few weeks. Okay, so I wasn't a big star yet, but this was a start. My time at school flew by, and my graduation ceremony arrived. I'd had a turbulent last 3 years, but I'd learned so much at West High, and being in the Swing Club, as well as improving my art and maturing, I'd made some amazing lifelong friends. After the ceremony, Kurt, Anna, Phil, and I lay on the grass. I spoke up. I'm going to LA to learn more about music, as it's my biggest passion and also my talent. I will try my best to become a singer, instead of just waiting for luck.
Hey, Kelly here. So, my dreams of being a part of an amazing school band, well, they weren't going so well. After a catastrophic prom performance, we all decided to go our separate ways. At least it was until Cole, the hottest boy in freshman year, walked into the room. There he was, smiling in the doorway and holding his electric guitar. So Jill glared at him and said, "What do you want?" He replied,
I know there isn't any member recruitment going right now, but I'd like to join the band if you guys...
I was about to tell him that there was no band anymore, but Mia spoke first. Yes, sure, of course. Then she rushed over to him and dragged him across the room. Daisy looked puzzled and said, but weren't we already disbanded? Then Jill said, Daisy, you must have misheard us. We said we wanted to expand our brand, not disband. Is this for real? Wow, it's amazing what a cute guy can do. So I just nodded and then said, okay then, I guess. Welcome to the band. Okay, so think about it. This guy might not be in any way musically gifted. Not that it mattered. Because of him, there was currently still a band. And surely girls would come and see us now, even if we sucked. I mean, he's Cole Henderson. For Valentine's Day, he got at least 40 cards. They all fell out of his locker. It was crazy. So we started practicing, and wow, it turned out Cole had an amazing voice, and he could play electric guitar like a pro. Mia even volunteered to step down and be backing vocals. What was going on? And Daisy was happy not to have to sing anymore and just concentrate on playing bass. Having Cole around solved a lot of our problems. The prom incident was completely forgotten. No more Mia and Jill fighting for the spotlight, but there was one thing. I knew they both had crushes on Cole. I mean, it was so obvious. Mia dressed up for every practice. I mean, she always makes an effort with her appearance, but glittery dresses on a normal school day? That was so over the top. Then there was Jill. Whenever Cole was around, she was so polite to everyone and complimented us on everything. I knew they were low-key competing with each other, as one time Jill's drumstick disappeared, and while she was looking for them, Mia went over to Cole and felt his arm and asked him if he'd been working out. Then another time, Mia's lipstick was replaced with a black one, which she applied before practice. Horrified, she ran into the bathroom to wash it off, and Jill went over to Cole and asked him to teach her how to play guitar while we waited for Mia. The band was certainly eventful, but I had to admit I was enjoying myself. We even decided on a name, Rouge September. This named after three of us have birthdays in September, and Mia and Cole's favorite color is red, but Mia insisted on using the French word for it to be more edgy. Yep, it took us hours to come up with that, but I like it. I like it a lot. We really started to improve and had lots of fun doing it. Then Cole suggested we play One Direction's What Makes You Beautiful at this upcoming school concert. I loved the song, so I immediately agreed. Even Jill did, and I know she hates One Direction. So we rehearsed like crazy and everyone showed up on time and worked really hard. Yes, Mia and Jill's low-key competing continued, but whatever. At least we were all there practicing. The night of the performance arrived, and I was mixed of excited and scared. Cole helped me set up my keyboard stand, and I noticed that he kept on giving me funny looks. Before I could ask him what was up, it was time to perform. We were so amazing, and everyone was cheering for us. Then the song ended, and Cole started to talk into the microphone.
Thanks, guys. You were awesome. But, there's something I want to say.
Then he looked at me.
Kelly, I just want to let the whole world know that you're the most beautiful girl, and I really enjoyed getting to know you for the past few months, and well, I'd love it if you could be my girlfriend.
What was that? Was he out of his mind? Since when did he have feelings for me? The crowd went crazy, screaming and cheering, while I froze there. I could see Jill and Mia were looking at me with fiery eyes. Cole tried to walk towards me and say something, but the microphone didn't work. Jill had just unplugged it, and Mia charged towards me screaming, "You traitor! Cole is mine!" Cole jumped in front of me to protect me from her. Then Daisy suddenly burst into tears, like hysterically. We all looked at each other, immediately knew, oh boy, she must have had a crush on Cole too. The next thing we knew, a teacher walked on stage and shooed us off. That's when I noticed the whole crowd gapping at us and laughing. Geez, this was so humiliating. Worse still, we walked off stage and the school director said,
"So, you think that was funny, do you? Let's see if you're still laughing in detention."
Then he locked us all in a classroom and said we could only leave when we understood what we did wrong and resolved everything. There's no way I wanted to talk to any of them about this mess. Thanks to them, I look like a fool. And now I had detention while I hadn't even done anything. It was some 5 minutes of awkward silence until Cole shyly started.
Okay, we can't just sit here in silence for however long. Look, I like Kelly, and the concert was a great opportunity for me to confess my feelings. That's all.
Was he serious right now? This was the last thing he needed to say right now. Jill suddenly fueled up again and turned to me yelling, "You've been seducing Cole even though you knew I liked him?" Cole tried to chime in.
Guys, this is not how it works.
Mia also came at me. "You don't deserve to be our leader. You're so sneaky." Then there went Daisy, bursting out crying again. Jill tried to comfort her while Mia said, "Another victim of beauty, huh?" Daisy stuttered through tears. Why do you get everything? You got to be the leader. You got the cute boy. You get all the attention." Jill rolled her eyes. "Yeah, so you're the lamest leader. So lame my dog could do better." That was it. I'd had enough of these selfish people. I couldn't hold back anymore and screamed at them. "Oh yeah? You think being a leader is easy? I guess you guys have never spared your precious seconds to think about how much I've done for you all. I got you a platform for the drum, a freaking mask, a dumb rhinestone microphone. You asked for it, I delivered it. It's all because I love this band. I want to have an actual band, a successful music club. I want to leave a legacy here at this school to make our high school years meaningful. But all I'm getting is hate and some selfish friends that I don't know if I could call friends anymore. I didn't know Cole liked me. In fact, I had no idea. I guess I was being too busy trying to keep this club together to notice. But no more. I'm done." I was out of breath after that, and when I finished, I saw them all looking at me stunned. Detention or no detention, I grabbed my stuff and I was about to leave when Mia timidly said, sorry, I guess it's true. I really haven't thought." Jill added, "Yeah, you should have told us earlier. I'm sorry. I didn't know this really meant that much to you." Daisy wiped her tears. "Yes, and please don't say that, Kelly. Of course. We're still friends. Please forgive us." Cole was about to say something too, then Mia quickly covered his mouth. No, kid. This is our business." "Now, Kelly, what do you say? Could you please take us back as your adorable friends and bandmates?" Then all three of them gathered up and looked at me with puppy eyes, trying to make me smile. I tried to keep my straight face, but eventually I burst out laughing and hugged them all. Then Daisy cried again, which set all of us off. Even Jill. Cole was sitting there looking at us oddly. When Mia noticed this, she pointed at him and said, "That boy was the one who broke us apart. Don't understand why we were so swooned over him. I wish I knew you were trouble when you walked in." Oh my god, did you just quote Taylor Swift? "You know it's Taylor Swift," Daisy laughed. "But you're right, I'm so over him now." "Yep, stupid crush," Jill agreed. I waved Cole over to join the group hug as I said, "Guys, remember that Cole was the one who saved us when we were on the verge of disbandment. He deserves some credit." "What do you mean on the verge? We were already disbanded," Mia joked. Then Jill added, "Wow, we've been through it all. Now I guess we can get over everything together too, right guys?" I said, "Yes, that's the spirit. Now on 3. 1, 2, 3. Rouge September. Let's go." You thought this was the end to it? Nah, not quite. Later that day when I was walking back home, Cole ran after me.
"Hey, Kelly, look, I'm sorry. I had no idea what this club meant to you. Please forget all about my confession and let's be friends. I want to help you with the band and everything."
I smiled at him. I'd like that. So, peace was restored, and as for Rouge September, well, we're still going. Who knows? One day we might be the greatest band on earth. But yeah, having close friends, being together every day, and playing music together is enough for me. But then something weird started happening. I found myself smiling when I looked at Cole and noticing how cute he was when he tuned his guitar. Did I like him? No, it couldn't be, could it? I mean, if I did that, then that meant I had to confess to him this time around, right? But here's a thought. It surely won't be on stage. Hey, my name's Kelly, and I'm so excited to start high school. Yes, I get it. Most kids my age feel the same way. But for them, it's all about proms, later curfews, getting their own car, and having a cute boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay, so those things sound great too. But the thing I'm most excited about is joining a cool club. A music one to be exact. You see, since I was little, I had this dream of being part of an awesome club like in Glee. Finally, school started. I was so eager to dive into this new environment, but it took me a few days till I could get a clue of where the music club office was or how to apply for it. No one seemed to know, to be honest, or maybe it's because I've only been asking freshmen who were just as lost as me. Anyway, after a lot of pacing the hallways, I found a room that said music club on the door. Well, it actually said M-Sick Club, as the U was missing, but it had to be it, right? I couldn't contain my excitement. I took a deep breath and pushed the door open. Hello, everyone. What was this? I took one quick scan around the room, as there's not much to look at anyway. There was a rusty guitar in the corner, a dusty drum set, and some rackety old chairs. 3 girls were sitting separately. One girl greeted me shyly, so I went and sat next to her. She said, "Hi, I'm Daisy. I play guitar and sometimes the bass. I love ballads, you know." Then this one girl who was painting her nails interrupted her. "Ballads are the worst." She rolled her eyes. "But luckily for you guys, I sing a mean pop tune." Daisy turned to me and whispered, "That's Mia, and I'm not really sure if she can really sing, though." The only other girl in the room had her headphones in and was dancing weirdly. Daisy told me she was called Jill, and she could kind of play the drums. I looked around the room of misfits once again, and I'm not gonna lie, I was really disappointed. This wasn't what I imagined. I told myself it was okay, and that more kids might join up later on in the term. I mean, it wasn't the easiest club to find, so it might take some time. That's all. Besides, this was my chance to claim leadership here. So, without wasting any time, I gathered them all up for a little discussion. Then I started with introducing myself. "Hey guys, I'm Kelly. I started play organ since 8. I've been trying to learn to compose songs too." There was not much reaction except for Daisy's shy claps. I then continued, "So, we should have a team leader, right guys? Let's cast our votes. Everyone will have a minute to talk about why they should be the leader." Daisy nodded her head, Mia rolled her eyes and mouthed, "Whatever." And Jill, well, she still had her headphones on, so I took the lead. Okay, so I'll start then. I think as the president of this club, I will... Mia cut my words. "Fine, you're it, whatever. Who else votes for Kelsey? Hands up." I started saying, my name is Kel. Mia raised her hand and then shook it out so her nails could dry. Jill raised her hand even though I don't think she actually knew what she was voting for. And Daisy raised hers while shyly adding, "I think you'll be a great leader, Kelly. I'm too shy anyway, so you'll have my full support." Well, okay, that was easy, so I'm a club president now. That will look so good on my portfolio. Now, I will bring back this club from oblivion. We will revive it. I'll have my own high school musical. I was actually excited. As soon as I got home, I went through my song list and picked out some good ones. Then I texted the girls to bring their instruments in the following day. But then at practice, all my dreams came crashing down. Daisy was right. Mia's singing voice was terrible. But she couldn't play an instrument, so I had to let her take center stage, which she loved, as she clearly liked the spotlight. But then Jill folded her arms and refused to play. "She can't stand there. She's covering me entirely. The drum is the soul of the song. Duh, I should be center." This annoyed Mia and they started bickering. I left them to it and went over to Daisy. "Please tell me you can sing, can you? We gotta do something. Mia couldn't be the only vocalist. We'll be doomed." Daisy looked stunned. She shook her head continuously. No, I can't do that. It's already such a big challenge for me to play in public. I can't sing." I tried convincing her that she could sing backing vocals with me, and she'd be fine. In the end, she agreed, but only if she could wear a mask on stage. "What?" "Fine," I shouted. "Fine. Guys, Daisy, it's okay. You can put a mask on while performing until whenever you feel comfortable. And you two, no need to fight. I'm sure the stage is big enough for you both to be in the spotlight. This is just a practice session. No one is here to see you. Just put up with it for a bit. Then when we're on stage, we'll figure it out." They all mellowed down a bit, thankfully. Geez, talk about draining. So, over the next few weeks, we got to work, and OMG, what a clash of personalities. I felt like I was the glue holding us all together, and it was so exhausting. Mia wanted to practice in the morning, but Jill wanted to meet in the afternoon, so I suggested doing a morning one day and an afternoon the next practice day. Then there was a song choice. Mia and Daisy were keen on a Taylor Swift song, but Jill tried to rock it up and made it sound awful. I compromised by letting her have a drum solo in the middle of it. They were hard work, but the strange thing is, I was actually beginning to like them all. Mia gave us all style tips and even let me borrow her lip gloss. Jill always recommended us some really interesting Netflix series to watch. Daisy made us homemade snacks to munch on during practice while I helped them out with their homework. Besides all the bickering, there were definitely friendships blossoming there. The problem is our band sucked. We'd only performed twice during break time at the school basketball game, but no one even noticed us, not while the dance team was performing. They were so in sync, and this one kid could do the splits. I mean, how could we compete with that? Then finally, the prom came. This was our big shot. We prepared a lot and practiced hard for it. We even went picking out prom dresses together, thinking about how glorious we would all look on stage performing in these gorgeous dresses. Before our performance was the dance team's, so we couldn't set up our instruments beforehand since they said they would be in their way. So as soon as they finished, we had to rush on stage with our instruments. Trust me, this is not as easy as it sounds, especially when all of us, well, apart from Jill, were in long puffy dresses. Talking about Jill, she chose to wear this cape instead, and it kept on getting tangled up and messing her rhythm. Daisy was distracted by the lights, so she messed up all the notes, and me, while I was playing, suddenly my keyboard stand collapsed. I guess due to being in a rush, it wasn't properly set up earlier. I had to improvise and immediately sat down to continue to play, and then Mia was too into it and sang off-key while dancing, which made her out of breath. It was a literal disaster. Seriously, it was so bad the baffled crowd gave a mixture of chuckles and amazed gasps. This is not how I envisioned it to go. Afterward, we walked in silence back to the music room to drop off our instruments. Then Jill said, "I told you the prom dresses were a bad idea. Not only did you sound awful, but you look stupid too." Mia was fuming as she replied, "Says the girl in the stupid cape. Since when has the Count Dracula look ever been good?" Jill said, "At least I have talent. You're tone deaf." "I am not. It's not my fault I have terrible backing singers." "Yeah, right, Mia. Was that what you call singing? All you did was dance and scream. This ain't a nightclub." Mia fought back. "My fault? What did I do? It's all because all you played so awful, so I had to try my best to stir up the crowd. And you," she turned to me, "were you on stage to chill? Who on earth sits while performing?" "Me? Now you're blaming me? You were the one who set up the keyboard stand for me. It's because you didn't do it properly. Lucky for you, my keyboard is still okay." "Never mind, guys. Let's not. Hey, you guys should have taken care of your own instruments. Don't blame me. Even if I sang off key, it was because you guys played terribly." "Who chose this song? It was too hard for us." Okay, let's stop blaming each other and focus on figuring out how to improve ourselves, or else I doubt that the school will let us perform in any event ever again. Again? Isn't this enough to call it a day? This stupid club shouldn't even exist. I'm out of here. I quit. Me too. What a waste of time. Bye, losers. Ditto. Sorry, Kelly, but I can't do this anymore. I could only stand there and shout as they walked through the door. "Guys, are you kidding me right now? Guys! Okay then, just leave. To hell with this club." My Glee Club dreams were over. Yet I just stayed there wondering what I was meant to do now. This was the worst day ever. But it was okay. I joined another club. Maybe the dance club. I mean, I couldn't dance all that well, but I could learn, couldn't I? The Monday after, we all went to the club room to grab our stuff. The four of us didn't say a word to each other. It was super frosty. Then out of nowhere, this guy stepped in. Well, not just any guy. Cole Henderson, the hottest boy in freshman year. At first, I thought he was lost, but then he said, "Hey guys, is this the room for music club?"